who is going to transform defenses in the league this year. I think you'll see. And here's the thing: I don't think you'll see the same thing each and every single week. I think you'll see it depending on the matchup. It'll be matchup dependent. It'll be matchup dependent. But I think you're going to see some weird ass looks at
when you're playing like the Dallas Goddard. You might see Dax Hill a little more for that tight end coverage. But
unfortunately, speaking more of this, I don't see a way in which some people's favorite, preseason safety makes the roster. I don't know if Tyson Anderson is going to be on the roster.
That's tough. I mean, man,
I just think it's a deep room.
I feel scared almost to be like, oh, I can take safety off the board for the Bengals, because we all thought that in the earlier rounds when they picked Jordan Battle too, because we were like, man, the safety room is deep. Like, they've got options. So, I'm
safety.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I do it though, like one good safety is going to fall in their lap in the 3rd or 4th round, and they're just going to be like, hey, we got a good player here, which again should kind of be your mentality. But when you have that healthy of a rotation already.
Iron Man, he says, and I'm getting the question early, Dax will not be a corner. They needed more time and lose defense, period. Jesse Bell were more vets, new house prepare, and they gelled over time. Don't discount Dax a safety spot. So if I say anything on this show, is because I speak to many different people throughout free agency process. There's a reason why the Bengals made signing a free safety a priority. You don't do that if you're completely sold, or if you are sold some semblance on your guy. They didn't sign Geno Stone to a 1-year deal. They signed Geno Stone to a 2-year deal. They brought back Von Bell. What did that tell you? They're not confident. Also, a lot of Dax Hill issues, the Dax Hill's issues, I would say came down to also about the playbook, the communication playbook,
mental mistakes, not enough physical ability
100%,
whatsoever.
man. And to be able to operate that style of defense, you got to be smart out there. I don't think that Dax Hill will be the Bengals starting free safety. And I'll be the first to say it. I don't think he has a future at the Bengals starting free safety spot. I think he does have a future on this team. I just don't think it's at that spot. I mean, knowing Lou, how much Lou loves Von Bell, I just don't.
Rightly so, man. Like, Von Bell's a good player.
I don't think he camps out on the sideline. I think he finds his way on the field.
I think so too.
I think he finds his way on the field. I think it's going to be hard pressed. But I also think, I know they love Jordan Battle. So it's just a matter of just how's it going to look at. I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
No, it'll be fun. And Lou's going to do a good job, man.
This is the defensive backs defense now.
Yeah.
This is what it comes down to, man. But yeah, I don't think Dax Hill will be has a future as a Bengals.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like, when I watch Dax Hill, this is the year that he really can still be, show up that first round pedigree. And what I mean by that is, there are many first round or, slot cornerbacks that are stars at the NFL level. And, we watch, some of Dax Hill's film, and just him coming off the edge as a blitzer, if that's his full-time role, if he is, in the role to cover a Travis Kelce, that is so important, especially come playoff time. And that's where we'll see what Lou wants to do with the defense. But if Dax is in that specific role, I think he could thrive, and I think he could be an absolute star at that position, because you just see him coming off the edge as a blitzer.
He's good in the box.
It's like Mike Hilton. I would even compare him. Like, I think he could be a better blitzer than Mike Hilton, down the line in the future. So
that's a good problem to have, right?
Right.
Very good.
Dax Hill at slot corner.
And maybe it works out to, like, God forbid something happens with Mike Hilton this year, it doesn't work out, and then Dax Hill just slides right into that slot corner pseudo safety box player, and that could be the role where he finds his strengths being played to.
Remember the Chiefs game that we were at, and we were, it was the AFC Championship. I'm sorry, but Mike Hilton,
never forget Daniel.
One of my biggest issues in that game was 2 to 3 times Mike Hilton one-on-one. I think it was MBS
got him every time.
One-on-one, Mike Hilton was getting cooked in man-to-man coverage. So if that's a role you have Dax Hill in, we could be looking at something different. So yes, I'm a huge fan of what they did, and we'll see what Lou cooks up.
Somebody says it's bad if you spend a first year on a slot corner. I don't disagree. I mean, I don't agree. I think that slot corner is becoming a more valued position in the league because it's an easier spot.
Nickel is base.
Yeah, 100%.
Nickel is base now. It's
100%.
not 3 linebackers.
100%. So it's not like a thing of where they're not on the field the majority of the time.
That is a starter.
The Bengals run 2 linebackers, right? And one of their linebackers isn't the greatest in pass coverage. I mean, neither one of them is the greatest, but one had a down year. I really believe, and I think that came down to a communication side of things. But if you think about it, you find yourself in a great spot with, hey, maybe you go with a heavy pass-based defense look, if you will, with overloaded defensive back safety room, if you will, on some of these passing downs to force these quarterbacks' hands. Man, I in overs this year for the Bengals. That's what I envision. Which is
great.
king, which listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where a guy got drafted if they provide ultimate value. I think that if you go back and you watch Dax Hill's Michigan tape, he is great around the line of scrimmage. He is great around the line of scrimmage. He's great when almost acting like, not in that backer role, but sort of like he's swimming around with those guys, if you will, not having to do just one set things. And I think that's the one thing I like about Dax Hill. When I see Dax Hill, he reminds me a lot of a Micah Hyde. Not Micah Hyde that he is now. I'm talking about Micah Hyde.
Just playing that like overhang position.
There's a reason he was a first round pick,
Yeah.
regardless.
Right.
I think we all agree Dax Hill could still be a stud, but you could be a stud in a different type of role as well.